Alrighty, folks, welcome to this delayed edition of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. Sorry for the delay. We were experiencing some technical difficulties, but we're here right now. We're ready to cover the issues. Well, not issues, the topics. We got the usual panel here, myself, including with Joseph and Justin. The greatest week in motorsports is here. We got the Indianapolis 500 with the crazy bump day. We got the Coca-Cola 600 and we got the Monaco Grand Prix, along with other major sporting racing events. So let's get started.
Wow. What a preliminary to the Indianapolis 500 that was. The greatest spectacle in racing is no disappointment. And we haven't even reached the start of the Green Flag Sunday just yet. Bump day was huge. Pole day was huge. And my gosh, a two-time world champion does not make the show. Fernando Alonso is out. McLaren is gone. Justin, what do you think happened that went so wrong to such a star-studded driver and team?
I think it was after the practice crash. They had to go to their other car, but I guess I heard that earlier there was like they had to repaint the car and it was not the right color, and also they were late. They had a puncture.
Yeah, and I think the crash in practice with their main car that McLaren brought from the UK, their only machine, was gone within a few. I think it was just I think it was practice one or practice two. It was gone,
Yeah,
and they had to get another car from another shop, another body from another team, and they were struggling with handling and speed the entire duration before going into qualifying. And not even that, but during testing, they were slow. Um, and I guess struggles snowballed into qualifying, and Saturday, to guarantee a spot before Sunday of qualifying, you have to make the top 30. He did not make the top 30. He had to rely on Sunday and to make the last row in the last row shootout. Missed it by one spot, and boy, what an upset that was. Kyle Kaiser and the Hoopcoast Racing team, they had such a storyline. They came into the track sponsorless. They wrecked one of their cars in practice. They worked endlessly overnight, multiple times. They were working 2 times harder than everyone else, and they made the last spot. Good for them. What do you think about Kyle Kaiser's chances on Sunday?
uh,
I think it's going to be actually pretty similar to Connor Daly. Connor Daly from last year.
Yeah,
like
he showed some lights. I tell you.
yeah,
Connor Daly started 33rd, he finished 21st. So I think Kyle Kaiser would be around the 20s.
But yeah, I mean, if we look at last year's Indy 500, it came down to pit stops and Will Power winning the race over Ed Carpenter, who was the pole sitter last year. And Ed Carpenter, his whole team has speed. I really like where Spencer Pigot is going this Indy 500 month. I think he might have a shot to win the big race. I mean, yeah, he finished 20th last year, but I don't think it's going to mean much. I mean, if you look at 2017, it wasn't the best either. He got 18th, but with the way his car's handling to his advantage, and I don't see much things to worry about,
yeah,
he might win and drink the milk on Sunday.
Can
yeah.
I talk about not just McLaren? Carlin Racing should be embarrassed of themselves. They have
Well,
4 cars coming into
three.
this
They
race.
got three.
3 of them are going home.
No,
The
two.
McLaren car is the McLaren is
2 of them
basically a
gone.
Carlin car.
Yeah, but it's not a Carlin car. It's McLaren
Like the
Racing.
technical alliance is Carlin.
That
The
is
car
true.
itself
That is
was Carlin. It was basically just
that makes
preparedness.
sense, dude.
Wait, I thought car. Wait, what manufactures
McLaren lost
McLaren?
their car from the UK. They brought a car from the UK to Indy, and Alonso lost it after the practice
Wait,
crash. They had to go get an extra body from Carlin
Wait, what manufacturer is Carlin?
Chevy.
Chevrolet. They
What
ran
is
the
McLaren?
Chevy.
Chevy.
I thought McLaren was Honda for some
They
reason.
ran Honda 2 years ago with help from Andretti.
Oh,
It wasn't too
Yeah,
bad.
Carlin should just be embarrassed of
I
themselves.
think so, but at the same time,
the 30.
them could be in their spot.
Because think about because it's like they had out of the 6 drivers in the last 4 shootouts, 3 of them, half of them were Carlin cars. None of them made it in.
Yeah, Carlin or Carlin affiliated, and that's
You got the full timer Max Chilton, which Chilton has been having an abysmal season. I don't know what's going on with Chilton.
I mean, you think this race would be the turnaround event, and yet he's not even in it.
Wow.
Ward,
Chilton,
he's had no speed. Alonso and McLaren,
Alonso, remember
they're too
Alonso,
focused on the paint job.
but Award crashed in practice too. He also
Yeah,
crashed.
so Kaiser. So did James
he
Hinchcliffe.
crashed in practice. But you got to remember, Max Chilton led 50 laps when he drove for Ganassi in the race 2 years ago. Came home fourth.
But like maybe the car had problems.
Racing.
Maybe the crew was not
He
looking
let go of the rope. That's
But
what
I
I'm
think
saying
the crew.
is Max Chilton.
Max Chilton
Chilton that I thought I would see. That's the thing.
Wait.
Chilton has just been downright awful this season.
Maybe?
Every race I could think of, he was running last.
That snap to get back up. Right
Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
Hey, maybe
it's
the crew was focusing on the 23 of Charlie Kimball that made the race.
Yeah, Charlie Kimball. Now I want to say about him. Charlie Kimball didn't get the fastest time, but he's in. I mean, he's in row 7. I'd say it's
why.
He's in the middle lane of his row. I think that. I mean, Charlie Kimball shows signs of pretty good racing in the Indy 500. I mean, listen, he has top 10s in 2012, 2013, 2 top 5s in 2015 and 16. Last year, his first attempt with Carlin in his first year outside of Chip Ganassi Racing, he finished in 18th, started 15th. Carlin is not the best team. Let's be real.
Yeah, Carlin's not the best team, but they still made the show fairly decent last year. I think how long has Kimball been in IndyCar?
Kimball's been in IndyCar since 2011.
Yep.
Every year till 20.
Yeah, they don't have that veteran presence with Charlie Kimball because Kimball's only in 3 races this year. He was in St. Pete, and now when he's coming back, so without
2 races.
Yeah, without that veteran presence, Carlin is just falling off a rock.
Right, and
like I said,
they took some chances. They rolled the dice with Pato O'Ward. He did not make the race, and plus, he's not a great oval racer. That's another thing too. I honestly thought Ben Hanley was going to be the one going home, driving for Dragon Speed, because they were really the slowest. They had a lot of downfalls, and to be honest, I know he has a lot of sports car background to his name and Formula races, Formula 3 and GP2 events from even 10 years ago, but
am I shocked
that it paid off? I think it did.
Hey, by the way, today had practice. There was practice 8 today, and Pagenaud was the top 3 was Pagenaud, Newgarden, James Hinchcliffe was 3rd.
Yeah, and we're going to do Simon Pagenaud in just a moment.
But
I just wanted to say, my 3 drivers I thought was going to go home in the Indy 500 this year was Ben Hanley, Pippa Mann, and Marcus Ericsson.
Same.
Mine were
all 3 are in the race.
For me, I had a couple of them. One of them was I had Pippa Mann, Ben Hanley, and Alonso because
you had Alonso. I just remembered.
Yeah, Alonso because he crashed. I didn't know if they were gonna get it because that's where they didn't have the speed. That's the problem.
See, I had the same mindset too. I thought, okay, after that crash in practice, Alonso's going to be coming with a bigger disadvantage. he's going to be the brink of making the Indy 500. I didn't think he was going to be bumped. I thought he was going to I thought he was going to make the top 30. I just didn't. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get anywhere higher than the top 30 spot. But I thought he was going to make the race, and he did not. I mean, you could honestly say that another potential bump would be Jordan King. Jordan King is a rookie, but he also has a lot of experience from last year driving for Ed Carpenter. So I couldn't rule him out either. Overall, speaking of rookies, I think we have 5 rookies. We got Colton Herta, Marcus Ericsson, Santino Ferrucci, Jordan King, Ben Hamlin, and Felix Rosen, which make that 6. That is a big rookie class, and if you do the math, 11 times 3 is 33. 33 minus 6, you get, I think, 28?
No, 27.
27. So I think it was like almost 1/3 of the grid.
Juncos Racing made a bold statement.
Oh,
yeah, they did.
Yep.
In all honesty, this is a great story for Juncos Racing, but I don't know. This is my opinion. I don't think it says more into Juncos Racing's speed, more so than it does in just how abysmal this month was for McLaren and Carlin.
I gotta tell you, like, Juncos Racing, this was a team that, honestly, if they quit and withdrew after their practice crash, or even afterwards, many people thought they were going to pull out when they lost sponsorship. I honestly thought it could have been understandable by the racing media world if they withdrew. They did not. And if you're a race team, you coming to a track, especially to the Indy 500, where all eyes are watching you, without sponsorship, it's like walking on eggshells. There's a lot of consequences that come with it. It's not a good impression. It kind of gives off a bad image usually, and it doesn't end well most of the time if they even make the race. That's how a sponsorless team usually turns out at races like the Indy 500. And they come into Indy. They ran only one race this year at Coda, finished 18th. Pretty much an unsung hero. They have a driver who has made one Indy 500. And now they were on the brink. You lost your only car. Did another team lend them a car, I think? Or did they come with 2? I can't remember.
They came with 2.
They came with 2. And I think barely 2. Sponsors.
Their first car was just white. Their second car had some colors they added. Yeah. Plus they had a road course gearbox.
That's another. They put that car together overnight.
Yeah.
Endlessly, tirelessly.
Yeah.
And I said earlier in the podcast that them making the Indy 500 is a victory upon itself.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't focus on what shade color orange is on the car.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. After reading that Jenna Fry article, it's like,
oh, come on.
That is real, that is just that reason is just
twice as hard looks like for Juncos Racing.
That's a joke. McLaren wasting 2 days because of the color of the orange.
Really?
That's the biggest. That is going to be the biggest joke of the entire motorsport season this year. I will. If you could cut that, I will be shocked.
But I think they definitely, if that's how they were at the track, that means they didn't take it seriously. That bump day is a possibility of them being the victims of it, and I guess they had to pay the price. McLaren, Fernando Alonso, what do you think is the consequences now? How is McLaren and Alonso, they come in with all the big bucks, all the money, all the sponsors, and of course all the attention. The majority of the paparazzi and all the flashing cameras was on them, and now they are going to be sitting at home watching the race on TV. How is this going to affect Alonso himself? That's my question.
Okay, a couple things. Number one, if I'm Alonso, I'm thinking about getting away from McLaren. After that, I don't care if it's Michael Schumacher and Ferrari doing this. I'm getting away from that team because that just shows that they don't take this shit seriously. Number two, if I'm McLaren and I want to stick with the Chevy, well, they really have no choice. For Chevy team, I'm going to Roger Penske. They got the money. It's McLaren. They got the money to make a technical alliance with the big team. Carlin isn't going to cut it. Juncos, yeah, they're great. They're great. They're a great story, but they barely have speed. Like just stating the obvious, they just hadn't. They had just enough speed to make it in.
They
So
did. I think it's mainly because they lost their first car.
speed, like just. But yeah, if I'm McLaren and I still want to do this technical alliance thing, I'm going with Penske. I'm going to go to Roger and say, "Hey, Roger, here's money. Help us out."
I definitely agree. However, anyone could have got bumped. Do you not remember that James Hinchcliffe almost went back-to-back DNQs in the Indy 500? For Pete's sake, he was on the brink of losing another chance at this race for the third time appearing at this track.
If he was going to go back to back in D and Qs, that would have
2015
been.
and last year.
Right.
If he would have went back to back D and Qs, that'd just be horrible. And both years were basically out of his control. Last year was a mechanical issue. This year it's because he wrecked.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. I completely forgot that he lost his primary car in a wreck off turn 2, and had to, of course, spend all those. What's it called? Oh, he had to spend those limited hours because they're numbered at this point, putting the new car back together. The team for Schmidt Peterson.
Yeah.
Put it together. They got him out. It wasn't enough to make the top 30. He had to run in the last row shootout. Made it 2 spots ahead of the edge of the cliff.
Right.
For them.
Turn 2 has just been.
Yeah, it's been.
Turn 2 has been the hot spot for Rex.
But yeah,
You see the cars going sideways. I don't know what's wrong with this. It has to be something with the chassis because do we see this at all last year?
I mean, trying to remember.
We saw a couple turn 2 wrecks. We saw Ed Jones,
Danica Patrick.
I think there was another one before then.
But we had also wrecked in turn 3 and 4. We had
turn 3 and 4.
Fernando Alonso in turn 3. They wrecked in turn 3 in practice. Alonso and Kaiser.
No, I think they wrecked in turn 2. Yeah, they wrecked in turn.
No, Kaiser and Alonso was turn 3.
Yeah, we had three accidents that caused yellows in turn 2 last year.
Like.
Yeah, but we've never seen these cars go airborne like that.
1 in turn 3. I'm looking at last year's stats according to Racing Reference of the Indy 500 in 2018. But yeah, it's definitely safe to say this year turn 2 has been the hot spot because the way the cars work, they snap around fast and it's unforgiving. You go at the speeds you're at. When you lose control, chances of saving it are slim to none. So you usually just spin it out and hit the wall hard. A lot of cars have been lost because of it. Also, when we talk about the race this year, I know this is race related. What lane, inside, middle, outside, would a driver be most comfortable with? You guys answer that.
It depends on the driver. In all honesty, if you're Alexander Rossi, you probably can be comfortable in the outside lane. I think drivers like Will Power, Simon Pageant, Carpenter, they'll try to stay on the bottom as much as possible. And then you have guys like the aggressive drivers like Rossi, they'll make those moves on the top, like if they see it. As for when you start the race, I think it's going to be in the bottom.
Right.
Yeah. You also got to be careful when you go to the bottom before getting into turn one on the opening lap. Because they are going 3 lanes. Usually, one of the cars in the lane you're in is faster than the other. Depending on what car it is, you just want to tuck underneath. Try not to be risky. It's a 200.
Here's the question. I think we can all answer this question very unanimously. Do you think we'll see a turn 2 wreck? If so, will we see a multi-car turn 2 wreck? That's the main one that I got.
Well, usually multi-car crashes happens between the turns, between turn 1 and 2. We had one in 2017, took out a good number of cars. 2018, we really only had one multi-car crash off turn 2. I think it was turn 4, my bad, but
It was turn 4 with Takuma Sato and I think James Davidson.
James Davison.
Wait.
But what I'm trying to say is that the hotspot for wrecks in this race, if there's going to be a big wreck, it's probably going to happen between the two turns, like turns 3 and 4, turns 1 and 2, because it's hard to avoid a wreck on that part of the track.
Do you think we'll see any cars flip?
I don't know.
We haven't seen the cars flip. We just seen them go sideways.
I definitely think there'll be cars going up in the air. I mean, it's very easy for one of these cars to do so at the speeds they're at. So,
Uh,
I mean,
Go ahead.
just check about Indy 500 last year. We had Sato and Davidson crashed in turn 3. Ed Jones crashed in turn 2. Danica crashed in turn 2. Ford 8 crashed in turn 4. Cash Nevis crashed in turn 4. Sage Carroll crashed in turn 4. And Tony Carnahan crashed in turn 2. We had 3 incidents in turn 4, 3 incidents in turn 2, and 1 incident in turn 3. That happened. Yeah. It was turn 4 and turn 3 were the worst spots with wrecks last year.
and I think rightfully so. I mean, there were more single car crashes last year, and also you got to talk about qualifying last year. There were only 2 drivers that went home last year compared to 3, and James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't James Hinchcliffe, it probably would have been Connor Daly.
For me, I think it would have been the 30.
Or even Alexander Rossi was at risk, the 2016 winner.
Wait, let me go check.
Because Rossi started 32nd.
Who started 33rd in the race?
Connor Daly.
Oh, Connor Daly, yeah. In the
17 car. Jack Harvey, I thought, could have been at risk. Or Grant Rahal got 30th in qualifying last year. So
Jack Harvey was 31st.
Jack Harvey.
31st, not 60 car.
Or having to come down pit road. There were many lap leaders in the race. I mean, we had, of course, Carpenter leading the most laps at 65, and then second most laps led was the winner, Will Power.
We had 19
laps led for Tony Kanaan.
15
laps.
Ray Hall led 12.
And Ray Hall.
We had Munoz led 4.
Oh, Serbia. Don't forget Serbia. He led 16 laps. He was close at the end.
We had Ray Hall with 12. Munoz with 4. Newgarden with 3. Wickens with 2. Rossi, Ryan Hunter, and National each led a lap. Oh, we had DeMello. Zachary Clement DeMello led 7 laps. Higgett led 3.
They were during pit cycles.
Bourdais led 4. Sebastian Bourdais led 4 laps also.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Newgarden led 3. Wilson led 3. Piggott led 3. 2 laps led by Robert Wickens. Alexander Rossi, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Simon Pagenaud each led 1 lap. It was a very diverse race when a lot of drivers had chances to win.
Bourdais led 4 laps but crashed on lap 137. Kyle Kaiser last year finished 29th after starting 17 in the 32 for Yonkos Racing because of a mechanical failure.
And I'm just glad to see them back. They fought so hard to do it, like I said earlier tonight. Also, I wanted to mention one other thing about the Indy 500. Fuel mileage is very, very important. How do you consider your fuel and tires, grip, of course?
There was fuel mileage last year.
Oh yeah,
Remember,
fuel mileage was the thing last year, and
we had the cars trying to make it, but they couldn't. So that's how Will Power took the lead.
right. But here's the
So
thing,
it's,
though: what lap is the best lap to pit?
I don't know. The fuel window is the problem.
Usually, you see them short pit.
Wait, let me check. One. There was 30 lead changes in last year's race. Okay. Doesn't even say. Okay.
He's
There
got
was
32 laps, I'd say. But remember, the laps fly by here.
Let's talk about the pole winner.
Oh yeah, let's go there first before we talk about the race. The battle for the pole was very interesting. The Fast Nine, of course, the first two rows of the 9 drivers get determined on yesterday's qualifying day 2, and wow, it was competitive for the front row, was it?
Yep, it was.
I really thought Spencer Pickett would get the pole.
He seemed unstoppable on Saturday.
He was the first driver to 230, I think, that day.
Yeah.
Did the pole speed this year? Did the pole speed hit 230 this year or no?
It was 229.992.
Yeah, it was close. It was closer.
Damn.
I want to tell you something. Positions, first through 33rd have the smallest increment difference ever. This will be a very competitive Indy 500. You know what I mean? It's like I said, you can have favorites, but it's hard to say if they will actually be a contender on the end of race day coming to the checkered flag when tensions are high. Can they be able to fend off cars that are fast around them? Because really, the speeds were so close. Is it going to be an underdog drinking the milk on Sunday? What do you guys think?
I think we're going to see a lot more passing than we did last year.
Last year we had 30 lead changes. Last year.
At 30?
But with all the practice, especially today's practice, you saw there was a lot more passing. We saw guys like Alexander Rossi making passes. So I think we'll see a lot more passing this year, so that could contribute to.
I mean, listen, it was 5 lead changes less than the 2017 Indy 500, which had 35. So with this trend, it's going to be the same.
Hey,
I think we might even exceed it. We might see 45, even 50 lead changes.
By the way,
it'd be crazy. Call me crazy.
In 2015, we had 37 in 2015. We had 37 lead changes.
I think we might exceed 40.
You know the top 5 for the 2015 race?
Repeat that, Justin.
You know the top 5 for the Indy 500 in 2015?
Yeah.
The top 5 was Montoya started 15, won the race. Power started second, finished second. Kimball started 14, finished third. Scott Dixon started on the pole, finished fourth. And Graham Rahal started 17, finished fifth. That was the top 5.
Yeah, I realized.
I think
Penske was strong in 2015.
Yeah,
I think the key features of I think the key what's the word I'm looking for? What do you need the most to win the race? I think it's gonna have to do a lot with how well you can pass a car. Like who can make the risky moves? Who's willing to go where other drivers won't? So I think drivers like Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, Will Powers, Scott Dixon. I think those are going to be the drivers that are up front.
Yeah, I feel like Dixon's a favorite. You know, he's had struggles winning a second Indy 500. You know what I mean? Like it's always a close one for him.
It's going to be all about who can make the best passes. Like I said, who's willing to go where others won't. I don't think that you'll be able to be as conservative as you would be in, let's say, last year's Indy 500. You know, maybe you can take. I don't think we're going to see drivers leading 40 plus laps in this year's Indy 500. That's a bold statement. I think we might see the most, maybe 43 laps led.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
we're not gonna
last
see
year's winter led
drivers.
59 laps, and that wasn't even the most. I
I
think it
don't
was
think we're going to be
like
seeing. I don't think we'll be
63.
seeing that. I think that the gaps are going to be much closer. I think that we're going to see a lot more lead changes. Um, so that's my take on what's it going to take to win the Indy 500. Obviously, you're going to need a good car.
Oh,
Uh,
how about pit strategy? You do not want to speed in pit road. It's
yeah.
60 miles an hour. That's a big drop in speed. Your brakes will be put to the test. For
Yeah,
sure. And what about shifting? Shifting gears is important.
yeah, because like
You know,
you're like when you pick, you're going from like 227 miles per hour down to 60. Like, you also don't want to mess up on pit road. Like, I've seen pit road accidents before.
yes, we had
We've had different
many
tracks.
friends of mine, including Danica Patrick's over 10 years ago,
We've seen
when
other.
pit crew members got hurt.
I also remember when we like also there's like I remember like 2016 Pocono. We had a crash on pit road.
Yeah, I do. But I mean, that's just part of racing and all.
Yeah,
However, you got to remember entering pit road and exiting pit road. And when you exit pit road, you're down on that apron until turn 2.
yeah,
So you're already going slower than the cars that are staying out, which obviously opens the door for strategy to come even extra when you know you can. But what I have to say, like when it comes to fuel strategy to the end of this race, like how Alexander Rossi won in 2016 over Carlos Munoz and Joseph Newgarden, and how he led only 14 laps compared to the most laps led being 52 by Ryan Hunter-Reay. It just shows how like important it is to plan your fuel right. If you can stretch it, for say like if a caution comes out around 20 or 30 laps to go, and you pit it maybe with like 40 laps to go, like around one lap 164, 165. Those caution laps are to your advantage. You can shut the car off for a
yeah.
good amount of time, and when your car creeps up to the safety car, you let off. But you of course you have to be the leader to do that.
All right, I'm going to give you guys some questions, and you tell me. Caution comes out, 160 to go. If you're the leader, do you stay out or do you pit?
With 160 to go, you pit.
Yeah, because the tires after a while, like they get worn, and also like you can't, like you spin the tires on the restart's the problem with worn tires in any car. So
All
I
right,
would get.
all right. Uh, 25 laps to go. Pit or no?
Oh
Now, if I pitted with 30 laps to go, I stay out. If I pitted with maybe 45, 50 laps to go, I'd stay out.
yeah,
Let's
stay
say the
out.
caution on lap 170, 175.
Usually the last caution lap.
Which drivers would stay out, and out of those drivers, who do you think has the best shot of winning?
Hmm.
Which drivers?
Yeah, let's say you have to pick drivers who feel like would stay out under that caution, would not go on pit road. Let's say they're stretching the fuel window.
I think Colton Herta is one of them. Comes
And
to
out of
mind.
all of them, who do you think has the best shot at winning the race if they're stretching?
Hmm.
Not overall picks yet.
I mean, if Colton Herta would pit or not pit in this case, he'd stay out. He might be doing what Alexander Rossi did 3 years back, winning the Indy 500. I mean, I think I'm a little too skeptical right now, but
Well, like,
I
like
think
the
a rookie's going to shock us.
like only thing is about if it happens in 2016, like it plays out. Like last time in 2016, we did have the last caution near 2018 was lap like 187. Like about
Yeah, the
like
last caution
20.
lap happened on lap. Actually, was on lap 166.
Like
So yeah, last 33 laps were under green.
like 2018 was different than 2016. Like
Yeah, and then 2017, the last caution lap was on lap 189, or the last green flag or restart was on lap 189.
and Sato won that one. Like, it depends, like, how many laps to go in.
And the last restart in last year's race
Yeah,
was 193.
yeah, it depends when the last restart is. Like, 2016, we had more laps in the green than, like, at the end compared to, like, 2016, 2018, and 2017.
Hold on.
But I feel like, to be honest, pitting. I mean, usually, I think one race that does come to mind in the Indy 500. We go back to, if you remember, the 2011 Indy 500, and that was definitely in a very strategy impacted race,
Yep,
which actually didn't come
Sorry
down to
about
the
that.
field. It came down to an error on turn 4.
yep. But people
We go to
still,
2011. The last caution lap was 164. So they went 30. They went green flag from lap 165 to the finish. I'm not counting the caution lap Racing Reference has up for J.R. Hildebrand's crash, because that wouldn't make sense to what I'm trying to say here. But the average green flag run in that race was 22.9 laps in. And I'll tell you, it was close.
All right, so I think we covered everything. Out of
Indy 500.
yeah, so let's go with the picks for the 100th over in the Indianapolis 500. First, I'm going to give you guys questions, and then I'm going to give me your overall pick. Unless one of the questions is your pick, then but yeah.
okay.
Do you think Simon Pagenaud, our pole sitter, is going to win the Indy 500?
I'm shaking my head on that one.
Yeah, because, like, you never know. Like,
He's
we've
not the
seen,
best
like,
overall
last
driver.
year, the pole sitter, Ed Carpenter last year did not win the Indy 500. He got second.
You get all this hype attached to you from pole day to race day, and trying to keep that going doesn't usually end well.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so we got two no's for Pagenaud. Do you think that we'll see the winner out of the first 3 rows? Do you think one of the Fast Nine will win the 500? Don't say who, just say yes or no and
I
explain.
I think yes.
Wait, ask that one more time.
Will one of the Fast Nine win the 500?
Well, one of the Fast Nine in the 500, absolutely. You get a lot of speed in the first 2 rows.
Yeah.
However, I do not see it coming from an Ed Carpenter car.
All right, so we got 2 yes in the Fast Nine. Well, all right, and last question: do you think someone from 25th on back has a shot? Not if they will win, if they have a shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they have a shot at it.
I mean, we're talking about the fastest of those 25 being Jack Harvey. And if you remember last year, he was pretty close before the fuel got the better of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Felix Rosenquist, he does struggle speed. But I do like James Hinchcliffe for some reason. He's got added adrenaline and momentum from making this Indy 500. I think this has been the most important Indy 500, even more than the 2016 pole and his comeback after the near fatal injuries he had the year prior. I feel like if there's anyone in the bottom 25, it's going to be James Hinchcliffe.
All right. So now we'll go on to our actual picks. Who do you think is going to win the Indy 500?
Oh.
You got to pick one driver out of 33.
I think mine's Joseph Newgarden because I've seen their speed. Like their practice today was they were second, and I think that they were up front in second in practice. They had speed in that 2 car. I feel like they'll be a threat for the win on Sunday.
Well, I'm going to go old school here. Elio Castroneves, 44 years old. He will win his 4th Indy 500 and join the elusive club of 4-time Indy 500 winners?
I'm going to go with Alexander Rossi. He's always got a fast car in the Indianapolis 500. He knows how to get around this place. And like I said before, I think the main thing to get it done in this race is going to be making those bold moves. Rossi knows how to make them better than everyone else. Even last year, when people were complaining about them there not being that much passing, Rossi was making passes. I mean, we saw that clip where he made like 4 passes on the outside of turns 1 and 2.
What he did last year, that was as audacious as you can at a track like Indy.
So I think Alexander Rossi is going to get a second Indy 500. So we got 2 Penske's and an Andretti Autosport.
Yep.
All right, so I think we're done talking about the Indianapolis 500.
Yep.
You guys got anything you want to say before we move on to the next topic?
Do not miss the race.
Yeah.
Miss the race. Whatever you do, I don't care what you're doing that day.
Wait.
You better be up by 12:30 for the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500.
What happens if people don't know what TV channel it is?
They better find out. They will
It
find
should be the
out.
first channel that they go for any reason. It's called NBC for a reason.
Well, except if you're in the UK, it's Sky Sports F1. Hey, if you're in the United Kingdom, it's Sky Sports F1. And if you're in Canada, it's on Sportsnet 360. Okay. In case there's more people around the world that want to watch IndyCar.
Let's talk about the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yep, that's coming up.
All right.
Ooh.
I think we gave our picks last week, but we'll save them again anyway. So let's review them.
So much has gone on since the last time we talked about Monaco.
Yeah.
I'm going to I don't know. My body's playing tricks with me. It wants to sneeze. It doesn't. I don't know. But Monaco is just one of those tracks where everybody's got your eyes on. You have celebrities. You have people with rich class coming. It's a very expensive place.
You got Tony Stark entering the race last minute back in 2010.
That is true. And
that's a good movie. I don't care what anyone says.
It's the Grand Prix era of the Monaco Grand Prix. Many drivers have won back-to-back. The last time it's happened was 3 in a row by Nico Rosberg. Does that mean it will translate over to a Mercedes driver which has not seen the top of the podium at the famed Monte Carlo streets since 2016 with Hamilton? Who knows? I mean, this is a track where you start is where you finish, usually. It's a given. It's very hard to pass here.
All right, so I think we can all agree that Ricciardo's not going back-to-back.
Renault. Yeah, so now with the car he's driving.
Renault is not good. Like, there was a meme that someone made that said DQ Sport is Renault because
Renault.
After what happened at Bahrain, both cars
they haven't taken a step. I'm debating on whether Renault took a step back this year or they just been the same, just because the midfield has been so much closer. But I don't think Ricciardo's going back-to-back. I actually think Ricciardo's going to get a DNF in this race just because, well, it's Ricciardo. And Ricciardo's my favorite driver. So if he DNFs,
which he could.
And Ricciardo's my favorite driver, so if he DNFs, you already know I'm going to have a great day, a great morning.
For us, it's the morning. That is true. We're all in the
I'll have a great
North
morning.
America.
I'll be like, well, no sad day in F1.
But also, like,
I'm going to go to some DOP drivers.
We talked about the Monaco Grand Prix winners and all of that. I mean, there's been some upset victors in the event. I tell you, one of them definitely includes Jarno Trulli. In 2004, driving for, yes, a Renault, got his lone Grand Prix win of his career that spanned from 1997 to 2011 at Monaco in 2004. And, of course, that's the one that will stay with him the most in that victory for Trulli.
Win the biggest race of the season.
And have that be your only win. Or we can go back to 1996 when, oh boy, that was something else. He had his only win. Olivier Panis, the Frenchman, won the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, driving for Ligier. And let's just say that race itself was something else. There were only 3 cars that finished in the race, and finished the lead lap on the race, and only 7 finished the whole race itself.
Wow.
It was something else. I'd say it was one of the race weekends where most teams are just that's why clapping because it's over exists. Okay, for teams like Ferrari and Nardi and Williams, Benetton, Jordan, But overall, Monaco's just that place. It has its true identity of its own. And I feel like it will forever be that way. But do you guys remember when Senna owned this place? He won in '87 and then won from 1989 to 1983. And during that time, all of them but 87 was for McLaren. I mean, of course, I don't see that translating over to McLaren today. But what do you guys think? I mean, what do you think McLaren's going to do in the Monaco Grand Prix?
Well, if I'm McLaren, I'm doing whatever I can to just go out and perform the best I can out of Monaco. Especially
make up for what happened.
Well, who knows? For all we know, maybe the cars will just will go as slow as Williams because the paint job's not right.
Well, the problem is maybe the 55 will do that because
hold on.
Hey, no. Hey, the 55 number font is the 55. If you add a couple lines, it's 66 basically. If you add a couple lines to the 5, it's a 6. So 66. But for
you know what, Justin? You inspired me. They're gonna make the 55 to 66. A comeback effort. McLaren is gonna win with Carlos Sainz at Monaco.
Oh, come on. Oh my. But I think that I don't know about Lando Norris because Monaco's a tough track.
But here's the thing: is it really that easy to pass? Could you hold up one of the top teams?
Why? The problem is, I think, there's some corners that I've seen people go too wide in some of the corners.
Too wide's hard enough in Monaco.
Well, at least don't go 3 wide. That would be the worst thing at Monaco.
Oh my gosh!
I'm glad that we don't go 3 wide.
But at least there's room to get out of an incident, unlike one other track that in some parts of it you could go 3 wide. Macau.
Oh gosh!
Imagine the Chinese Grand Prix gets moved to Macau.
Oh no! That's where it's bad.
No, we wouldn't last if you did.
Hey, there was a crash in another race that was I don't know what the name was. That's really slim.
It was at Pau.
Yeah, that is also that would be bad.
I made a joke about Pau of that record saying.
Oh yeah,
Macau, I'm the most intense track. No one can avoid wrecks with me. And then Pau, hold my beer.
Oh my god, I saw that. Holy crap!
I have that kind of humor, do I?
Let me ask. So, I'm trying to think. You think we'll see a typical F1 race at Monaco, or you think we'll see something like last year, where it was just down to the wire?
I mean, to be fair, I think it was 7 seconds ain't that much down to the wire, but it could be close. Track is going to be a pain in the butt for many of these front runners for obvious reasons. I feel like this could be the race that Ferrari doesn't mess things up because you can't really
Okay, now you're asking a lot out of them.
Oh come on, yeah,
I think it's asking too much for 2019 Ferrari.
But like, I feel like Mercedes is going to be in the front. Like, I feel like they have.
What it needs to do with what McLaren did to their head of their Indy program. As soon as he screwed up, bye-bye, get out of here.
Like Mercedes, I feel
Well, I
like
mean, you could do
Mercedes.
what they did in 2017 in the Monaco Grand Prix when you bring Jensen Button for a one-off and just drive like an animal.
Like, I think like Mercedes will have speed because their drivers actually don't. That Mercedes doesn't do team orders. They
I
actually
mean,
let the
okay.
drivers race
Hold
it
on,
out.
Are we gonna have? All right, don't
hold
tell
on,
me
hold
we're gonna
on.
go
Wait,
back to this
wait,
in October in Russia and say that they did. Okay.
wait, wait,
Let's
wait.
hope
Before
this
you
is
guys
not
continue, wait,
fortune
before you
telling.
guys continue, Danny, you better hear this. Team orders.
Oh my!
And that's what
Like,
y'all. And that's what y'all say. And then
Oh my
so
god.
be it.
I know I got an idea for NCAL later. I'm gonna tell him. I know you could call this podcast now.
like, about Mercedes. Like, I feel like they're gonna have more speed in their car because like they've been racing good 1 and 2, but they're not like saying that Hamilton has to be ahead by a lot and that that Bottas has to lay back and stuff. Like Bottas laying back, he doesn't need to do that anymore because what happened. But it's the weirdest thing is how like Ferrari's doing that stuff. Like Ferrari's doing weird things and people still don't understand what they're doing with their pitch strategy, telling him Leclerc to let Vettel by and everything like that.
Yeah. You can't really make someone pull aside at Monaco when it's
Yeah,
such,
that's
such a
not gonna
rigid
end well.
track with barely any room to do that in.
Yeah, that's the problem about the track.
I mean, isn't that kind of why Ricardo won the race? I mean, you need a
Yeah,
perfect lap time between those
Yeah,
between
Ricardo won the race
the
because
walls.
he passed for crap. Well, that and Vettel shot his tires up to hell.
yeah, that's true.
To be
Like
fair, yeah.
also, but like Monaco. I've raced at Monaco in F1 2016. Oh my god, the track! I could barely get through the corners right.
Oh no, it's unfriendly.
I raced in Monaco in F1 2017, F1 2018. I think I have yet to actually finish a race.
Well, I finished a race, but I almost wrecked like 3 times.
Oh, here's what I do.
When I played F1 2012, for like the few times that I actually did, I won a championship in the season mode. That was the only DNF I had with Monaco.
Like,
Here's what I do. If I get any damage whatsoever, I just restart the game. But it's Monaco. I say restart over and over and over and over and over again. I just get to the point where it's just like, you know what? I wreck. Screw it, on to Canada where I can actually win the thing.
See, the thing is, Canada, you can definitely make up for the misery at Monaco.
Yeah,
yeah,
Canada, you can actually make passes. Monaco, like if you if you make like the slightest molecule contact, you're done.
it,
No, your car will like have a tank where you can't turn it for the life of you.
hey, remember what happened in 2017 going to the tunnel corner? Remember what happened?
Yep.
How did who flipped on their side? Who that?
Pascal Verline.
Yeah, like how?
He got hit by Jensen Button.
Oh my god! I think it's so stupid how that happened. Like I want to go see this again.
All right. What else is there about Monaco? We talked about how hard it is to
Like
pass.
also where is it?
You can't really do team orders. I mean, can you?
Nah, the only way I can see you doing team orders is in the pits because you're not going to be able to do them on track. If you do, cause a wreck.
They could do that again.
The only way I see you doing team orders is if, let's say, Leclerc qualifies below Vettel and Ferrari just says, "Yeah, don't pass a period, hold everyone up."
Wait,
Which Wouldn't surprise me. You know what? I'm calling an L. Watch
I
this.
mean, would you just stop them at the pits and be like,
What?
make up the fact that there's a problem with the car, and then you don't tell
Why
them?
aren't you moving? It's team orders. Come on, man. Come
Wait,
back.
wait. My question was, why was Justin Button and McLaren? Was it be, was it because Alonso was not at
Well,
Monaco or something?
are you talking about 2017?
Yeah.
Alonso was in the 500.
Yeah, Jensen Button drove his car.
Oh, but I'm so shocked about how that happened. But like what was Justin Button trying to do? Going in that corner.
Let me ask you guys something before we move on. What is the bigger surprise? 2017 when Alonso announced he was going to race in the 500 or Alonso missing the field this year?
I think
I feel
Alonso
like
missing the field.
yeah,
To be fair, he was a contender of the 2017 Indy 500.
yeah, until he blew up.
Well, yeah, but no one saw him like actually getting. I think the 2017 was a bigger deal because here's the thing: we had no prior knowledge at all.
We didn't see this
Alonso.
kind of Fernando
Yeah,
Alonso
like no
before.
one saw it coming at all that he was going to run the 500 and mix the Monaco Grand Prix in the process. This year, we've had the entire month of May where Alonso he was like literally the slowest car on track. So we actually had time to think, okay, if he gets bumped, it'll be shocking, but at the same time, it won't be surprising. I
I
think the,
honestly, I
I
wouldn't.
think the biggest surprise was just who bumped him, not the fact that he got bumped, but who bumped him.
That's right. The
That's
fact
what's
that
bigger.
Kyle Kaiser and the struggling Juncos Racing team got him at the mirror end is more shocking than Alonso missing the 500 itself.
Exactly. So I
What they had to deal with and what they went through, I don't think anything can top that.
Yeah. So I think that out of the two, the biggest shocker is 2017 when Alonso announced he was going to do it for the first time.
About Monaco, like that race is it's gonna be interesting.
What, Monaco or Indy?
Like Monaco, because why are we going we're talking about Monaco. Oh, we're going to IndyCar again, we should talk about so then finish Monaco and talking about that.
That is true that he dropped Monaco. I feel like he was able to,
That's
and that's
like
because McLaren was struggling. Alonso was struggling with McLaren. You know, he was in those waiting years of F1. You know, there was a door open for him. He wasn't in the championship hunt. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, you said why not? I'm
He had
not
availability.
probably not going to make a podium.
But my question,
You're not
why
going to see
was
Vettel do this or
my question,
Hamilton or Verstappen. No.
Yeah,
my
go
question, why was Justin Button in a number 22 if Alonso's number was 14?
Well, because in F1, like the number sticks with the driver.
But why was it why
I
like
mean, to be fair, there's also another rule with the numbers in F1. Past champions have the option of changing to number 1 for the year when they defend their title.
but Hamilton never switched it to 1.
No.
So
Yeah.
in
The
44.
said he just doesn't do it.
If Rosberg was going to race in 2017, I think he would.
Oh yeah, he would have stuck it to Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
He'd be like, "Hey, Hamilton,
Rosberg,
you see this?"
He brought such a different vibe to F1.
Like after about F1 and Monaco, we're gonna see an interesting I think Monaco is gonna be interesting also,
Yeah.
and but for my pick, for some reason I think it's gonna be Mercedes 1 and 2 again.
I
feel
wouldn't
like
speak too soon on that.
I feel like they're gonna start first and second because they're gonna have good speed because we've seen.
I mean, Hamilton is a former winner at Monaco.
But Bottas has just finished at Monaco's 4th place. So he could have made.
Yeah, that is fair.
He could improve the race and improve and be better.
All right, so I guess we're going straight into picks. So,
And also, if you don't, Monaco's at 9 a.m. Eastern. If you live in the United States, it's on ESPN. If you live in Canada, it's on TSN. If you live in the United Kingdom, on Sky Sports F1.
Yeah, the traditional channel. I mean, also you can watch on Channel 4 for F1.
Yeah, that's true.
I honestly feel like Channel 4's coverage of F1 races they have a lot of. I mean, they're undermined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Sky Sports usually tops them, and of course, if you go back to 2017, there was another English language feed that was, of course, with NBC doing F1 on 2017.
that's life at the speed of Formula One.
And now,
For that, I like it.
of course, I remember when I started watching F1, we had Fox Network do it, or Speed.
yep,
Traditionally,
I remember that.
Fox would only do some of the big races.
Yeah.
All right, so heading into picks, who's everyone's pick for the Monaco Grand Prix?
For me, it's Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, that 44 car.
I'm gonna go with Sebastian Vettel.
All
Don't
right,
look away from Vettel.
all right. I'm gonna go with Charles Leclerc. I think he's the better qualifier out of Vettel. Like you said, where he starts, where he finished. I think Leclerc, besides Hamilton, he's probably the best qualifier in the field. So I think if he can out qualify Hamilton for the pole or get a better start than Hamilton in the race by starting second, he'll just maybe not drive away, but I mean, it's so hard to pass. So it's like once you get up there, it's like you're basically stuck there. So I think Leclerc's going to get his first win.
I mean,
Should have gone to Bahrain.
But
it was just so close. And
the engine, like, something happened in the engine, one of the cylinders.
Look what happened to Ricciardo. He lost 25% of his engine power, of his horsepower.
I don't know if you remember 2016, Ricciardo had it in the bag, and then Red Bull messed up the pits, and it took him away from victory and giving it to Hamilton.
Yeah, I think if we're going to lose this race, it's going to be on pit road. That's the only way.
Pit roads. What about the chances of a safety car? Will we see a safety car in this race?
If we see something like
me.
If we
Look
see
how narrow the track is. If any one of them are stopped.
Well, if there's contact like
if a car stops a pit road or just anywhere, like there's going to be a safety car, no question about it.
Maybe not from a car on pit road, but definitely. I mean, there's very few access pathways outside the track where
if somebody lands on their side, like in 2017,
that Pascal Verline.
Yeah, if that happens, well, there's a safety car for sure. Mm-hmm. Like we've seen like about that also. Where do you think Williams is gonna finish?
Williams lets the slowest out of anyone who's running.
But where are they gonna start? Last row?
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
Is Williams gonna out-qualify anyone else this weekend?
No, I don't think.
I'll bet money on it.
You're only gonna lose money. I
feel like betting on Williams like scoring points or out qualifying.
This is a big one. They'll score points. I mean, you got time if you start 19th and 20th to avoid it.
You start 19th to 20th, you're going to finish 19th to 20th.
Unless you get a red flag,
Or
I think it was 79, or what if we have another 1996 Monaco Grand Prix?
Oh, come on.
I don't even want to imagine that.
I'm a little too ahead of myself right now. How about the first time winner? Last time we saw that was Jarno Trulli, but the only problem is he was an only time winner.
Oh my god.
All right, so let's move on to the Coca-Cola 600.
The penultimate race of the three big events coming this weekend, and let's talk about the track itself. Charlotte Motor Speedway is a D-shaped quad oval half-mile circuit that
half mile.
Mile and a half. Hello.
Hold up, wait a minute. Now, if Charlotte Motor Speedway was a half mile, I think everyone would be ecstatic for that one. We got 600 miles
Yep.
on. Oh,
400 laps.
we'd be up. We'd be up till the morning.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. To be fair, it would be 600 laps.
Oh god.
No, it'd probably be 600 miles, knowing NASCAR. They'll be like tradition.
Oh,
Yes.
like like the race is, but the way the race is like 4 hours 30 minutes long.
It
That's
could
just,
vary. Just depends on the amount of cautions that come out. I know
and
the 27.
also
2007 race. When Casey Mears won that race. That race started, of course, around like 5 p.m. somewhere around there, 5 or 5:30, and it ended past 1 a.m. And there was, and due part by the amount of big crashes that happened and red
oh,
flags that had to be displayed
hey,
after. There was,
in 2017 it ended at like 1:30 a.m. Eastern because rain. We had
yeah,
rain
rain happened early in
in
the.
It
2017.
started one day and ended the next.
Like the rain was the problem. Like we've had rain. We've had rain at 2010. No, 2009. The 2009 race. We didn't pass halfway.
The whole race in 2009, 10 years ago, happened on Monday, and it
Yeah,
ended
and
early.
David Ruderman got the win in our 44 car.
Yeah, it was the first win of two for David
Yeah,
Rudman and first win ever for Michael Waltrip Racing.
but people say the first one was luck, but his second win was not luck. His second win was actually
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah. A lot of I remember because David Ruderman, the Zephyr Hills, Florida native, had a lot of critics coming at him saying, "Hey, that was just a lucky bet from rain, and he gained some positions under yellow, and the rain happened again and whatnot." Ended up being first after all.
but Chicago.
And Chicago comes out in 2010, and he made a statement.
Yeah, he
I
lit.
think he held off Jeff Gordon to win.
Yeah, like.
But too bad he never was able to back that win up or have any better equipment than Michael Waltrip Racing when he left it in 2011. But let's go back into the event itself. I mean, look at Casey Mears. Casey Mears, that's his lone win in the Cup Series. He never was able to back that up, despite driving for Rick Hendrick. Another recent first-time winner at this event, Austin Dillon, which was 2 years ago when he won off fuel mileage at the very end when Johnson ran out.
Yeah.
Also, first-time winners. Here's another one. What if you end up being a legend after getting your first win at the Coke 600? Let's talk about David Pearson.
Oh,
David Pearson in the 1961 World 600, he won. And you should see the finish. His car was limping to the finish line. It was like he won many laps ahead of second place, and something broke in the car, and he was actually like the car was crawling to the finish line, kind of like Dan Gurney did in that one Daytona endurance race in 1963. That was David Pearson's first career win in the 61. That's of 105, by the way. 105 wins later, he's one of NASCAR's best of all time.
What about Jeff Gordon?
Jeff Gordon, yes, there's another one. Another first-time winner at the Coke 600. Jeff Gordon go 92 wins later. He's the greatest of all time. 4 championships later. David Pearson, he had 3 championships. Like I gotta say, what about Matt Kenseth? Remember Matt Kenseth in 2000? He won the 600. His first career win.
So let me ask you this: you think we'll see a first-time winner?
His first-time winner if there's anybody gonna get a first time win, it's gonna be Daniel Suarez.
Oh,
Oh, oh,
Oh, is right.
like for me, I don't know. Like people could try pitch strategy. We've seen that happen in 2017. We've
yep.
had some pitch strategy in that race. Like for me, I don't know. Like it's so hard thinking about somebody winning the Coke 600 as first time winner because we've seen veterans that we've seen. I don't know. It's like so hard to pick someone.
But it could happen.
If
It's
we're gonna say first time winner, I think it's gonna be Alex Bowman.
yeah. Like Bowman, he's had speed the last couple weeks. Second place finishes.
3 races in a row.
Yeah, he has momentum. He has momentum coming into Charlotte. He got a top 10 last year in the Coke 600.
What are your
And,
guys' thoughts on the whole halftime for the troops in the middle of the race?
I'm gonna stay out of politics, but I feel like there's many ways to do that before the race starts. I feel like if there's any concern for that, it's just that it's in the middle of the race.
but for me, it's like they do that for the Indy 500 at the beginning. They
Well,
don't want
that's
to
the thing.
copy
It's
the
the
Indy
beginning
500.
of the race. It's before the race starts. I
But
feel
the
like
Indy
if you
500,
take
they
the
do it
drivers
before the
out
race
of their
starts.
flow and out, like you stop the flow of the race. That's what I'm trying to say.
But the Indy 500, they do it before. They don't want to copy the Indy 500. That's why they want to have the
Don't they
track.
do that before the Coke 600 as well? Like similar kinds of
But
ways of honoring troops and all that. I know in 2009 I think it was like a minute of silence. Well, that was because it was on the Memorial Day itself,
yeah,
so it's understandable. Now this is planned by NASCAR. Like I said, I'm trying to steer away from politics. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be because with politics, there's no safe zone. But to be fair, I believe the race should not be interrupted by any kind of halftime event. You know, this is lap 200 to 400, and this is the only race that they break it down into 4 stages. And I'm not even a fan of stage racing, to be honest. Like, I feel like it stops the flow of the race, and especially with an added 4 stage and 100 laps apart in the Coke 600, it takes away that fuel strategy side of the race. You know what I mean?
like I was
Well, Justin, what
talking
are you
about
saying?
that. The problem about stopping the race, I was checking. It's supposed to be 95 at Charlotte. That means it's gonna be like 160 in the cars. That's where it gets problematic. How are the drivers gonna take a drink?
But here's the thing, though. I mean, in the pits, usually, sometimes you get something handed to you in the pits. But I mean, they've never needed this before. Like
But
a break, you know what I mean?
but like,
This isn't.
but this
Just
is
go on.
one of the hottest Coca-Cola 600s. That's the problem. 95 degrees.
Do you not remember the Chicagoland race?
But that was in July. We're talking about May. In
Right. It's unusual. It's unusual, but it's also considered an endurance.
but
I
that
mean,
one is longer. This is the longest.
do we need co-drivers in like we have a Bathurst? You know, put a co-driver in.
Like like
Sign me
we've
up.
we've seen people get cramps driving
That's true, but
cars.
it's part of being a race car driver. You have to
But
endure those conditions.
if you
It's a
race
long
in,
race, and these drivers are set for it.
but usually the only usually we have in longer races that more people getting cramps in the car. Like
So is that a problem? Do you think that means it's a good idea to have a break at 200 laps?
we've had remember what happened in 2017 at the Brickyard. Remember that race?
Well, that was due to exceptionalities.
But
The race was under a rain delay. there were red flags after red flags or
But
caution
like,
flags. This race, it almost looked like there was nothing that could stop the race from being
but
complete.
but you know Casey Kane had you know Casey Kane he
He had
had
heat exhaustion.
no he had cramps started cramping up near the end of the race.
Yeah,
Wow.
he had to get IVs. You
Yeah,
know who
that's
else
the
had that?
problem.
Kyle Busch. And this wasn't
If
even
we
as
were
bad as
gonna
Brickyard 400.
if we were gonna stop
2015.
races because drivers were having cramps, then these
That's
drivers don't deserve to be on track at all.
But it's not
that
your
is true.
fault. Car conditions are
These drivers know the risk.
hey, do you want to
No,
drive a car at
It's
100
part of racing. Do
break?
you not remember the 2001 Talladega 500 and 2002 EA Sports 500 at Talladega? The last two caution-free races to existence in NASCAR. Why did they not go caution? Because there was no reason to. They went. It's a race. You're supposed to go from start to finish. But it also leads to the question of
Okay, cool.
why do we need yellows at the end of stages?
Bonsoir. Exposeront la suite pour home mistake.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
we all have to take bathroom breaks.
Ils vont commencer soon.
All right, let's move on from this subject.
But let's talk about the race itself. Let's not get into the
Let's not get into the
regardless, it is
parts
a
of it.
600-mile,
You can go on my
400 lap
Twitter for
race.
that.
Yep.
Except for some occasions, like, you know, like 1968 and 2009 and let's say 1997.
Wow.
That race got put to the next day.
Wow. Has there ever been
From 1974.
Has there ever been a Coke 600 that had an overtime finish or like a green white checkers?
Yes, and that happened. The only overtime finish in existence of the Coke 600 was 2011 when Kevin Harvick got the win.
Oh yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
That caution should have.
That was hilarious.
Let's not talk about that.
Like that big crash should have brought a caution out. Brad and Jeff Byrne were dropping.
But the last two Coke 600s have exceeded 4 hours. 4 hours, 23 minutes was last year's distance and time. And, of course, 2017 was 4 hours, 19 minutes.
No surprise.
2016 was actually 3 hours, 44 minutes. It's the only Coca-Cola 600 aside from 2012 in this decade. And I got my stats right. It's the 2016 and 2012 are the only Coke 600s in this decade that has ended prior to 4 hours being completed.
Because, like, in 2016, we didn't have much cautions compared to other years. Like, 2016, I remember the first caution came on lap 114, and Brian Scott spun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I remember
he won a TV time somehow.
Well, maybe. Like, and also the Coke 600, like, we've seen, like...
What about 2005? 5 hours, 13 minutes. That race was a wreck fest. Had 22 cautions.
I don't think we're going to be seeing a wreck fest. I mean, these cars are too stable. They're too stable to
Are
wear.
you sure about that? Anyone can spin a car at any time.
Are you sure? We've seen cars get loose sometimes.
Yeah, loose, but it's like then they could save it easily.
Sometimes,
really?
no. If a random dumbass piles in, like if like somebody spins, but like we've seen, remember what happened in the All-Star race, like Denny Hamlin, and then Blaney.
Well, yeah, Denny Hamlin got knocked in the back by Blaney.
But Blaney had momentum. Like, he came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah, we got this new package.
Yeah.
How is that going to affect the race?
I think it's going to be... I don't know. I think it's going to be very similar to... I think it's going to be a mix of Kansas and the All-Star race last year. You're going to have the cool temps of Kansas, and you're just going to have, like, the craziness of the All-Star race just because of how tight Charlotte is as a racetrack.
But I mean, you can't be aggressive at the start of the race. You can only lose on the first lap of the race. I mean, This is 965 kilometers we're talking about here. This is 400 laps. There's no time to waste by uh, running it all on lap 1 or lap 5. You know what I mean? You got a lot of work to do.
Yep.
I think another case of this, the Coke 600 that comes to mind is pit strategy is so important here.
Right.
Your tires versus saving fuel. That's a good debate. What do you
Yeah. Like also like I hope the race is better than last year's race. And 2016 Coke 600, like I almost fell asleep watching the race.
Well, I mean, it was a one-sided show. It was unstoppable. Kyle Busch had a great race the whole time. He led 377 of the 400 laps in that event, and that's not even as close as the most laps led ever in the Coke 600, which was Martin Truex Jr. leading 392 to win the race.
Yeah, like 2016, 2015, Edwards won over Biffle and like in 2015 we had Edwards win over Biffle and Dale Jr. That was not a bad race because there was some fuel strategy in that race.
Yeah, fuel
People were saving
strategy was
fuel.
definitely a case in that one.
Like 2014, Kenseth passed Johnson passed Kenseth in the race for the win.
Absolutely. The Coca-Cola 600 is an unpredictable event. It's a highlight race for
Yeah,
many reasons. But if you lead 377 laps, the only other leaders of the event were pretty much barely any. I mean, you had Denny Hamlin leading 9, Brad Keselowski leading 2. 12 laps were led by Joey Logano. And that's it. And then let's go to 2016. Actually, let's go to 2017 here. The winner led 2 laps. Martin Truex Jr. led 233 laps to finish third, while Johnson, who was leading towards the end, led only 35 laps.
like like 2013 was Harvick the winner. 2012 Casey Kane. 2011 was Harvick.
And then how about 2016? Martin Truex Jr. led 392 laps of the 400.
Well,
5
like
laps
do you
were
wanna
led
what?
by Johnson,
I,
1 lap led by Logano, and 2 laps were led by Paul Menard. That's it.
like do you know what I just realized?
Yeah.
That the last driver to win the All Star in 600 was 2010 with Kurt Busch.
Yeah, 2010, Kurt Busch won both the All Star and the Coca Cola 600.
Like I don't know about Larson
Kane won in
because Larson
2008.
won the All Star, but I don't know about the Coke 600.
I think Remember, Johnson won 3 Coke 600s in a row and went on to win 2014.
But Johnson did not win 2012 Coke 600.
That
That
was
was Kane. Kane won the race in 2012. Harvick won 2013.
Harvick has won 2, both for RCR.
Yep.
Carl Edwards won his only Coke 600 in 2015 for Joe Gibbs Racing. That would actually be his first one for Gibbs in the 2 years he's ran for them.
I'm trying to think about what was it.
One for the defunct Furniture Row Racing, Austin Dillon for RCR, Kyle Busch for Joe Gibbs Racing. What else? Yeah, Casey Kane is a 2-time winner at the Coke 600.
Isn't he a 3-time winner?
3-time winner.
Yep, he's a 3-time Coke 600 winner.
I think Jeff Gordon is a 3-time winner of the Coke 600. He won 94, 97, and 98. Jeff Burton has won 99 and 2001.
I'm checking Charlotte. Larson sat in the Cup Series at Charlotte. Oh goodness.
For the drivers that have the most Coca-Cola 600 wins, is Darrell Waltrip at 5. He won 1978, 79. He won in 85, 88, and 1989. Johnson has 4 in 03, 04, 05, 3 in a row in 2014. And then
Okay.
look at all these drivers tied for 3 Coca-Cola 600 wins. Buddy Baker, David Pearson, Bobby Allison, Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, and Casey Kane.
Hey, by the way,
Mhm.
Kyle Larson's best finish in the Coke 600 is 5th in 2000. Oh, his best Coke 600 finish. Oh wait,
Will Kyle Larson translate the All-Star win to a Coke 600 victory?
I don't know because his best finish is 13th in the Coke 600. But his best ever finish at Charlotte on the Oval was the base race in 2016, and he got 5th. His best sparring score was the 2015 Coke 600 when he started 9th but got 25th.
Oh, guys, I'll be right back.
Like, Larson, all Charlotte starts at the Oval, he's driven for Ganassi, except his first start, he drove the 51 for H-Stunt Motorsports, but blew up in the race.
Yeah, Kyle Larson. I mean, listen, you just gotta be there at the end to win. That's how it works with a race like this.
Yeah,
It's 965 kilometers, 600 miles, and 400 laps. So much in those 400 laps can happen to put you either
yeah,
to win or in a position to not win this race.
yeah, like it's gonna be like the race is gonna be like interesting.
Oh,
I
for
feel
sure.
like it's gonna be better than last year's because the new aero package makes the cars stay more like not a big gap happening.
You
Like
can run multiple lines with
yeah,
this package.
yeah, this package
If your
is
car's
way
not going to
better.
be
But like,
the groove you're in, you can just try something else.
like I feel like I don't know who's gonna win the races. I'm stoked because like I don't know. Like, I don't know who's gonna win that. Like, 'cause the problem is the Coke 600. It's the hardest race of the season. It's 600 miles. You have to try to you have to do all the laps, and people get exhausted at the end of the race because it's a while.
And also the track condition will change. The
Yeah,
tempo
like
because
you
the race
start
starts in the day
you
and
start
ends
at like
far in
evening
the night.
time in the daylight, then goes to night.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the
Along
problem.
with that, the track temperatures will drop, which will result in
Yep.
the potential handling of the cars. Which it's not a big transition, but it's enough to keep your eye out for come race day. Um, this is this is why a lot of teams. And let's talk about the impact of this race. I mean, Chevrolet has the most wins here with 24. Can they make a 25th?
I think they can.
With who?
That's like for me at Charlotte because like I people that have been good on the mile and a half. I think it's between Bowman or Chase Elliott because they've been good at Charlotte. They were they were like probably like them. They're good like Charlotte because they did good in the All Star. Actually, Chase did not do the best. Bowman did got eighth. But he was running in front at the like he got top 10 last year. Bowman finished 10th last year in that 88 car. It was really good. But let me go check the 2018 Coke 600 quickly.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
looking.
guys. So before we continue, I just want to announce F1 legend Nicky Lauda just passed away.
Wow,
Oh,
that is very sad.
He
Nikki,
died after undergoing kidney dialysis. The three-time world champion.
that is we just heard this news. That's very sad. Nicky Lauda is one of the greatest drivers ever in Formula One. 70 years old. And like I said, this was um, given out. Nicky allowed it, of course. I mean, feels just like yesterday when we saw him in the pit box with Mercedes every race, and he will be missed. That is some terrible news. He is one of the greatest drivers ever. I'll tell you, his career in F1 is one to remember. In that comeback that he had at the Nürburgring crash in 1976, in that title fight with James Hunt, three-time world champion for the Austrian native, in a career that went from 1971 to 1979 and rebooted it in 82 through 85. He had 25 wins, 54 podiums, and 24 pole positions, as well as 24 fast lap awards in the race. And this is surely came to many people's surprises, and Nicky will certainly be missed. This is going to be a really tough. Like, Monaco Grand Prix is going to have a lot more of meaning now, because the Mercedes guys are going to have to go with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Just got the news just now. Literally, I just looked at it, so we just wanted to mention it briefly. So prayers out to Nicky, Lotta's family, and to everyone related to him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to our Coca-Cola 600 picks.
Look, I'm looking here at
Start with the poll. Who do you guys think is going to take the poll?
the poll. Oh gosh.
The Coca-Cola 600.
I mean, the qualifying isn't
That's
stupid.
going to be a tough one, but I feel like it's going to be a surprise. But when it comes to this race, it shouldn't be. Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson? I thought you said it wasn't going to be a surprise.
It's a surprise for 2019, but not a surprise for a race like the Coke 600.
For me, oh goodness. Trying to look, for some reason, I feel like Joey Logano will get the pole, not 22 car, for Team Penske. Because he has speed a mile and a half, and he doesn't have a bad record at Charlotte. So I feel like Joey Logano will get the pole, not 22 car.
All right. I think that the pole sitter is going to be Kyle Busch. He hasn't had the best qualifying this year, but I think he'll get it. I just have a gut feeling that he's going to get the pole this Coke 600. I don't know why I stumbled there. All right. So now for the main draw. Who do you guys think is going to win the whole thing?
Oh goodness.
I said his name last year. He did not disappoint one bit. Led 377 laps. It's Kyle Busch. What do I gotta say? He'll be the first driver since Jimmy Johnson to win consecutive Coca-Cola 600s.
For me, it's Alex Bowman because he's in his second 3 races in a row at Talladega, Dover, and Kansas. And he got 9th last year after starting 27th. And he was one of the higher 100 cars. He finished 9th after starting 27th last year's race. So I feel like he has the speed to get up there and contend for the win.
All right, I'm going to pick Chase Elliott. Besides Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott has been the only one to finish top 5 in the last 3 races. And unlike Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott has been able to lead more laps. He led the most laps at Talladega. He led the most laps at Dover. Didn't quite lead the most laps at Kansas. That went to Kevin Harvick, but he still led a decent chunk of laps. So I think Chase Elliott will get it done.
Chase Elliott, I mean, he could. Well, how about a driver that might make it 4 second or better finishes? Alex Bowman. What do you think about his chances, Justin?
Like I
Hey,
feel like he
four
has
more.
a good chance. He has speed. Like he got ninth last year after starting 27 in the rear. He was all the way in 27, moved up to ninth last year. If he could qualify a little bit better, he could gain more spots and possibly challenge for the win. They just have to execute, bring a good car, and make sure the setup's good because that's what they did the last
It's
couple of
essential.
seasons. That car has speed compared to like earlier of the season. The first 9 races, like 11 was his best finish in 9 races, and
That's
like
right.
he overtuned it at Bristol, and that did not go well. So like, you just have to make sure the setup's good, make
Okay.
sure the car's good, and make sure it's good for his liking.
Yeah, I mean, the winningest team in Coke 600 history, in Coca-Cola 600 history, is Hendrick Motorsports. Their last victory of their 11, which comes from 1988, was 2014. Jimmy
Yep,
Johnson. Can
yep.
that be a 12th win, and with who?
Chase Elliott. Well, he was my pick, so yeah. I think Hendrick will get it done. I think Chase will get it done. So
Yeah,
Right. Like you know the Coke 600, you cannot win the race from lap number one, but you can lose it early
right.
in the race.
You may not have the best car at lap one, but your car will be completely different from lap one to lap 400.
Yeah, because the conditions change.
Like I said, this is not any ordinary NASCAR race.
Yep, that's true. Because yeah, you start in the evening, but then during the race, the sun goes down and it becomes night. The track changes, the conditions are different, so it's gonna be really different.
all right. So I think we're done.
Wait,
So
wait. If people
Let's
don't,
talk about some other racing too outside
wait,
of.
hold on, Justin. You were
How about
saying?
the
hey,
Justin?
for the
What's
Coke 600, if you don't know, tune in on the Fox. If you live in the United Kingdom, on Premier Sports, just to tell you if you forget.
all right? That is true. Do not miss the race.
Yep.
Um, if you're working, if you're North American, you're working all day. You should. There's no reason why you shouldn't miss the race. You'll definitely be home by then. I
Yeah.
I wanted to also mention about some other racing going on. The qualifying race at the 24 hours of Nürburgring, the 6 hours of no. It's not. The 24 hours of Nürburgring is next month, a week after Le Mans. And the qualifying race, of course, as always, is held 1 month prior to the big race itself. And let's go ahead and talk about the BMWs that have found some speed, Justin. I'm looking up the speeds right now. So the qualifying race.
Hey guys, hold on. I got a surprise coming, but keep talking.
All right. Justin, you there, bud?
Yeah.
All righty. I got so many tabs on my computer right now. I'm trying to find the results from 2019. Oh, I got the PDF right here. And I'll send them to you so we can look at it. I know it's a lot of stuff, but oh yeah, I'm trying to find. I sent it in the Hangouts chat.
Yeah.
All right.
You can look for it yourself, and let's talk about what we had here in this event. BMWs were strong. They swept the podium, and many were surprised. I mean, not too many people talk about BMWs in the Nürburgring 24-hour event. And yeah, this is just a qualifying race, but still, it's a lot. A lot of cars, and
Yeah. Number 101. Walking Horse Motorsports car.
yeah, Walking Horse Motorsports had Christian Krognes, David Pittard, and Nicholas Yoloi.
And then we
They're very underrated drivers. Not too many people have mentioned them in the compared to row racing, which finished second and third. I thought they would be the better BMW drivers.
like the 99 had Jesse Krohn and John Edwards.
Those are two great drivers.
And the 98 had Connor DeFilippe, Tom Blomqvist, and Mikhail Jensen.
Mm-hmm. I thought they would be the better drivers, and you have Fricadelli Racing Team that in the Porsche 911 that finished fourth outside the podium. Some other great drivers like Matt Campbell, Matthew Jaminet, and Romain Dumas, which all of them will be rounding in Le Mans. Of course, they're going to go back to back racing 24 hours in literally 14 days apart.
Also part of the drivers of the 31 were also Sven Mueller was also in the 31.
Oh yeah, I forgot Sven Mueller, the German driver.
And then we had the number 6.
Yeah,
Mercedes
Black
and
Falcon's another driver. By the way, the SP9 class finished first through fifth. There is an SPX class, and I will tell you about them in a minute because the Black Falcon Mercedes I want to focus on them for a little bit. Patrick Assenmeyer, Nico Basten, Yelmer Burman, and then you have Gabrielle Piana. Black Falcon's always strong, but the SCG cars, I want to mention there's an SPX class. It's a kind of a diverse class, but the SCGs, they kind of look like a Le Mans prototype in a way. They have the same texture, like the look of it, the speed. They can't compete for the overall win. What are the chances of the SCG team in the SPX class? They finished 6th overall in the qualifying race. The Scuderia team. Where do you see them?
I don't know. Like, depends. Like, I know that they can have problems. Like 24 hours is a long while, and you don't want to mess up early in the race. They just have to run a clean race. Make sure they don't get like they don't get into a crash or something, and they'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
What about Armani? Were you saying something?
Oh no, I was gonna say. So what other motorsports events are going on?
The W Series had round 2 at Zolder.
That got Ray Shortland 142, and Chandler Smith won over Ty Gibbs. Yeah. And the next
ARCA, we had ARCA. We're gonna have ARCA again.
ARCA starting last week or this week.
So is that 2 right now ARCA races in a row?
Yeah, because after Charlotte, we had the Pocono.
And there's 2 Pocono races on the calendar, right?
Yeah, the other one's in August. At the end of July is the second Pocono race for ARCA. So yeah. We got Arca from Charlotte on Thursday night on FS1. That's gonna be Thursday night race. The General Tire 150. It's gonna be 100 laps at Charlotte on Thursday night. That the race starts at 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's
I also had something in mind. Look, I still want to look at the 24 hours of Nürburgring. There's so many classes. I don't even know how many, like, because it's such a like over 100 of cars in the race total. Of course, the main focus is for the overall, the SP9 class, which are the GT3s. By the way, just to let you guys know how big the track the track is at Nürburgring. Um, let's just say the overall winner completed 41 laps in 6 hours.
yeah.
In other tracks, 41 laps can be completed in 15, 20 minutes, like Bristol, maybe even less than that.
15, 40 laps in Bristol, odd minutes.
No. You're exaggerating.
Okay, 10.
I'd say 15. Just
Wait.
because
Let
I
me
played
check.
NASCAR Thunder 2004 on my off time.
Wait, it's 15 seconds a lap around Bristol. And how many? In how many minutes? How many? In 9 minutes? Guess how many?
Is
Wait.
Dan having trouble getting on with us?
Yep.
Dan, this could be the same thing with Justin. Tell him, like, just let him know, like, the same thing happened with Justin, and that Dan can make like a secondary account for now, and he's not the only one with this issue. By the way, some other race news that has come up.
Right.
Earlier today, two-time Indy 500 winner Al Unser Jr., known as Little Al, arrested driving under the influence. As many know, he has for many years struggled with alcoholism in his life, and certainly, of course, hope that everything on his end will improve and that this won't happen again. You know, the Harding Steinbrenner team, he works for them, so this is definitely not some good news for them. That is the team Colton Herta brought into the top 10 starting grid.
Here I am, guys.
Hey, there he is.
Well, welcome in
Yeah.
Daniel Ford. Daniel
Thank
here
you.
at 48. Subscribe to him. Denny,
Thank
how's it
you.
going?
I'm good. I literally just got out of school,
Well, welcome in.
and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my lift to come and get me. So my class is late, so it's like 9:30,
Yeah, nice.
like a little past 9:30. So I'm waiting for my lift to come and get me, so I can run. Yeah,
But
but yeah, I saw the
you saw the news about Nikki.
I saw the news that Niki Lauda passed away. Man, that's pretty sad.
He was undergoing kidney dialysis when it happened, and it's just very sad. And it was
Really,
an untimely passing. Many people did not see this coming. And, you know, in fact,
yeah, I
many people
know.
thought he was going to be at the track. You know what I mean? Niki Lauda is always a present scene for Mercedes in their paddock. Has worked with him to the very end. Uh, Three-time world champion, and it's of course it's a heartbreaking loss, you know.
Danny, quick, give your picks for the Indy 500, Coke 600, and Monaco Grand Prix. Go.
Okay, Indy 500, definitely Scott Dixon.
All right.
Coke 600, maybe Truex Jr. or Johnson,
Okay.
as usual. And for the Monaco Grand Prix, it definitely has to be Lewis Hamilton because he's been dominant all year this year.
All right. All right, folks. There's the last piece that we need for our picks.
Yeah, I think if Jimmy Johnson breaks his winless streak at the Coke 600, imagine what the headlines would be.
I can see it happening.
Oh yeah,
Here,
that would be
Texas.
big. I can see it happening.
Yeah, he got speed at Texas. He can bring that same speed to Texas. I think we'll get it done.
I think he's going to win the pole. I don't know if I could say the same about the 400 lap race itself. But you know what? He's done it 3 times in a row. In his sophomore year, he won, and then it was a rainout race, right? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Let's go on 2 more years.
It was a rainout race.
Yeah, let's go 2 more years, then wins again.
Right.
Wins again in 2014, which is Hendrick's most recent one. They have 11 victories at this race itself. I think Alba's just going back to back.
I think Chase is getting it done.
Everyone's picking Chase Elliott.
I'm doing it based off of speed, not because it's Chase Elliott.
I know. That's the thing that I really hate, man.
Here's the thing. I'm sorry, viewers. I'm sorry, the whole world, but Chase Elliott is not Dale Jr.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Jesus.
Thank you. Jeez.
How dare you disrespect Redneck Jesus Jr.?
Okay, I think.
I had a feeling I saw that one coming, but
yeah, I just think he's gonna do it just because. Well,
yeah, my ride is like literally 2 minutes away.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
What's that?
There's the Xfinity race at Charlotte this week.
That we have not mentioned. It's their first race since.
We got all the big races. It's like, yeah, guys, the Xfinity race. We just forgot.
Yeah, last Xfinity race was all the way at Dover, and they're back again.
So
there's 0 leeches that I believe, or as many people.
No Austin Dillon.
Cup Series regulars in top tier cars in this race.
There's Austin Dillon.
And he's driving for Colin Racing. That ain't the greatest team out there.
Well,
it could get in the top 10. Could even make a top 5. Who knows?
Well, you got second.
Austin Dillon's won at Charlotte before in the Xfinity Series.
Hey, by the way,
with RCR.
Second at Vegas in the Fed this year.
Can
Jeffrey Earnhardt and Carty.
Who do you think's going to win the Xfinity race?
There's a lot of cars there.
I mean, no Brad Keselowski, no Kyle Busch, no Joey Logano, no Kevin Harvick.
No, because
it's literally all series regulars or other drivers besides.
Like I'm looking at
the drivers in the top cars.
By the way, there's 2 Brandon Brown cars.
Okay, Brandon Brown's. I don't think he's going to win in any of those cars.
We have 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh come on! We have 3. We have 3 Mario Gosling cars from 36 to 90 and to 92. We have 3 DJ McLeod cars.
Hell morning.
Yeah.
Well, we now get to know who finishes 25th, right?
We have.
Wait, hang on, Joseph. Hang on. I think I want to debut my show Full Throttle on the World Racing Media channel this Friday.
All right, no problem.
Wow.
I think you
set up on how to do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you to do it when we're done here.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I could do that.
We have 4 Carl Long cars and the 13, the 42, the 35, and the 66.
Man,
hey,
Carl
Justin.
Big this weekend.
Justin.
Yeah?
You want to join me? You want to be a co-host for my show?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'm not too sure, Armani, if you want to join, then you can. You can too as well.
If I'm not busy that day, then yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, we could do it. I think like covering it after Carb Day events would be perfect.
That That would be the perfect. That would be the perfect
Yeah,
moment.
we'll talk more about it when we'll talk more about it later in the week.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
like I
Sure.
said, not everything came to fruition. We had uh, what's a podcast with they had another we had another podcast on World Racing Media today that was bottled up. They were on this channel and earlier this afternoon, and they in their episode they featured Granor Outdoor Truck Series driver Anthony Alfredo, who finished eighth in the Charlotte race, to their
Oh,
podcast as a guest, and so we might try to link up with Bob Lep hopefully soon. And always looking for a guest. Guests are,
yeah,
you know,
that's true.
I feel like doing varieties of podcasts in this channel is a goal.
You're not going.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we need.
I mean, we're close to meeting up over the weekend to cover Indy 500 qualifying, but due to certain events, that wasn't able to happen. And
Right.
I think there's a lot of potential with this channel. I'm very happy to work with it.
All right,
I'm
so
looking here.
for the Xfinity.
Like, by the way, World Racing Media is up to 20 subscribers. We're
Wow.
at 20
So
right now.
that's really good. Yeah, we're growing slowly, but we're growing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you guys' picks for the Xfinity race?
Uh, Xfinity race
Xfinity
at
race.
Charlotte. Ooh. For me,
I'd probably have to go with Christopher Bell.
for me, let me think.
Christopher Bell.
For me,
Sorry,
uh,
Cole. I'm going with Christopher Bell.
for me,
Yeah, me too.
for me, Justin Allgaier. He has speed at Charlotte, and that's
He
7.
also has experience at Charlotte. Has more appearances there than
Oh
any
yeah.
other of these guys.
Yeah, I feel like
Top
Justin
cars.
Allgaier in the 7
It's a
car.
300-mile race. It's literally half of the distance that we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, it's
So
200 laps.
it will probably be like how many laps? Like 200 laps or
200. It's
something.
half the course.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier is my pick too.
I know Mike
He
Harmon's
hasn't
not
been
a.
too good this year.
By the way, Mike Harmon's not a pick. Mike Harmon's not winning the Xfinity race at Charlotte. That will never happen. Because Mike Harmon's way too slow.
Oh my gosh, there are many snails out in the Xfinity Series grid.
Like we have
Carmen's no exception.
Morgan Shepherd in the 89.
How many cars entered?
I don't. Let me count.
Yeah, find the number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39.
So two drivers will be going home. I think it's going to be Mike Carmen and Morgan Shepherd.
No, yeah, it's 39 for 38 spots. One of those two. I think
Or
it's
one of the
probably
car
Morgan
long
Shepherd.
guys.
I feel like it's Morgan Shepherd's 89.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
been
to be
slower.
fair, he's
Right.
turning
That's the
78
championship
this
winning car right there.
No, come. We know Chad Finch. We know Chad Fincham's not winning the championship in the
Chad
Oh
fourth.
yeah,
Bishop, I
five.
mean, I'm going to give him credit. He actually got some pretty good finishes.
Yeah, that's
Timmy Hill at
giving
Dover.
him some momentum.
Timmy
Oh
Hill got
yeah,
in the top 16 at Dover.
yeah. Timmy Hill
Congrats
got
for Carl
16th in
freaking
that
Long. He drove in the
66 car at
Q.
Dover. And
They're running supers now, so
yeah,
good for him. And you know what? He was impressive in the Truck Series race. And we haven't talked much about the truck race that happened in the
yeah.
All-Star, of course. The Truck Series race was won by Kyle Busch. Well done. All
But Brendan Poole's
races,
second.
perfect record of how many? 5. And guess who came in second? Brendan Poole.
In that 30 Toyota.
That's
Like,
amazing.
like
On
that
Point
team.
Motorsports, they withdrew the race prior due to sponsorship
And also, you know that
fundings.
that team started last summer at Bristol with Scott Legacy.
And they're really living up to their team name, aren't they?
Like,
Yeah.
you know, their team. You know, that team, like that, like those cars, like those cars
They,
are. Like,
I really, really like what I've seen from them.
Plus, guess what happened in that race too? They finished second with a rear sway bar that was broken. They were driving with a rear broken sway bar, and they still got second.
I mean, who does that? That's
I
That's
unbelievable.
know.
impressive.
Talk about car control. You know.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
or that 50, that 16, that 30 truck just running
Oh, and
full.
once again, shout out to Anthony Alfredo for coming on the Bottle Up podcast earlier today as our guest and getting an eighth place finish driving for David Gillen. Good for him.
Up
The
in the
truck
15
series
truck.
goes. The truck series has a few weeks off, I believe. They don't
This
return
2
racing
weeks.
until
They have this week and next week till they go
they
to
come back in
Texas.
Texas.
Texas on June 7th.
It's their first standalone race of the season. They're actually going to be in the same. They're actually like a pre event, like a pre show to the IndyCar race in Texas.
Hey
They have
Joseph, remember the things to the 3 truck races, Texas, Iowa, and Gateway? There's remember the 3 truck races, Texas,
there's like a
Iowa, and
little.
Gateway
It's
that
like
you
a
can win money
yeah, something
out
like a
of?
Dash for Cash Truck
Yeah,
Series
it
racing.
starts at Texas. So the next 3 races at Texas, Iowa, and
Gateway and
Gateway.
Iowa. Oh, Iowa and Gateway. We got 3 standalone races coming up for the Truck Series. This will be
Yep,
very
Yeah,
interesting.
and
that would be very interesting. So let's see
We're
how
going to
that
3
plays out.
different tracks.
I just realized Greg Biffle is going to drive.
Oh
There's
yeah,
going to
Greg
be
Biffle. He's coming back.
driving the 51 at Texas. But
2000
guess who's
champion of the
That would
Truck
be
Series.
pretty. That would be pretty great.
but guess who's going to drive the 51 at Iowa?
He's going to drive the truck that won the first Texas race, which was Kyle Busch Motorsports number 51.
Yep. But guess who is driving the 51 at Iowa?
51 at Iowa is Chandler Smith
Yep, he's making his debut in the Truck Series. He's
making his
won
debut.
the
I think Sam Mayer's probably going to be in
Unbelievable.
that race too.
Like, we're seeing what Taylor Swift done for Vigor Racing last year.
Oh yeah.
And
Also, Iowa's going to be on the same. Justin, your mic's a little off, but Iowa is also going to be on the same weekend as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and then Gateway's going to be on the same weekend as the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which we talked about earlier tonight.
yeah,
Right.
Nürburgring had their qualifying race today. I mean, yesterday. I'm always ahead of myself, am I? Come on.
Nah, it's okay.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, like, this is the best time of year to be a race fan. If you're not a race fan now, even if you're not even into racing, start watching car races at this time of the year. You will not be disappointed.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh.
always entertaining. It's it's always fun to watch.
And racing gets diverse at this time of the year.
Absolutely.
Really does, Dan.
I just realized that that because um that that Ross Chastain's gonna be at guess who's gonna drive the 40?
Let's speak up, Justin.
Kyle Benjamin's gonna drive the 45 at Texas.
The 45 at Texas is going to be driven by Kyle Benjamin.
Yeah.
He won 2 races ago at Kansas with Ross Chastain. That's going to be exciting. By the way, that's going to be Ross Chastain's first non-appearance in any of NASCAR's top 3 divisions in 2019 for obvious reasons.
Because Ross can't race that because
He's got a conflict. He runs Xfinity.
we're at Michigan. We're at Michigan the same week. So he's focusing on Xfinity at Michigan.
Right, that's the championship he goes for.
Yeah, he's championship points for Xfinity points. So he's going for the Xfinity title. So he has to race the same, which is more important.
I want to mention Truck Series this year has been very competitive. A lot of comers and goers we've seen in the series.
That's true.
It's been worthwhile to watch. You do not want to miss the Texas race, but you definitely don't want to miss some of the other races coming on the calendar too, maybe like in Iowa. I'd also mention, do you guys know when we come into races like Bristol and the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, they just get hectic.
I'm
That's true.
looking. Okay, right now Edgar is a 15-point lead over Stuart Friesen going to Texas.
Who
15.
is Johnny Sauter?
Sauter's sixth because Sauter had the Kansas issue. He dropped down to sixth in the standings. Rose is in fourth. Kraft in fifth. Brett Moffitt's in third. So yeah, Friesen jumped up to second in the point standings.
You see that? Oh, it's Grant Enfinger in the points leader. It's 15 over Stuart Friesen, Brett Moffitt, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton.
Then it's Sauter Hill.
I have a feeling that ThorSport truck's going to win the title. There's just so
Oh
many
my
championship
god.
contenders driving for ThorSport.
Hey, by what you know for the Chase bubble, right now Gilliland is only in by one over Burton to be in the chase. Wow. Todd is in by 1 point over Harrison Burton to make it into the chase. Oh. Oh.
All right, I think we talked about everything, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All I got to say is enjoy the weekend.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, for sure. Because it's going to be very, very entertaining.
Yep.
All right, so you guys got anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Nah, not really.
All right, so
Oh, actually, so for the viewers that are listening to the podcast right now, expect a new upload to the channel, which might show Full Throttle on the World Racing Media channel. So be sure to look out for it.
all right, folks. So like you heard him, we'll have some new content up later this week. His show, go. That sorry, English is hard. Go
Full,
full throttle.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
English
It's
is hard
okay.
if you speak English.
You know what? Let's talk about it. All right, so expect some new content on the channel this week. Once again, thank you everyone for for being on the panel. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Justin. You can check us out on Twitter at WR Media Group. You can check on my Twitter at 87 Velocity. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.